I'm just so upset that I can't cover all the other crazy things that are happening because Obama is becoming a dictator officially. They're gutting the country. We're in a depression. And all I hear about is the Super Bowl coming up. And it literally is like out of a science fiction movie how crazy this is. And they're persecuting and arresting members of the press that are exposing Obama. They are getting away with incredible crimes publicly. And when the corrupt do that, they go for everything. They're going for everything because culturally they're losing the battle. Culturally, libertarian ideas are taking over. Renaissance ideas are taking over. So they are coming after us. You understand, folks? If we give in to them, it's even worse. The best course is fighting them. The best course is standing against them. It's the only course. Let's go to Steve in Chicago. Steve, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How you doing, Alex? Long-time listener. The issue is, I think, open housing started the open borders, which started open trade. Now, we go back into the 1960s. It was states' rights. The Right Honorable Governor of the great state of Alabama, George Corley Wallace, was standing up to the federal government. He stood in that doorway of the University of Alabama. Now, how many of the other people stood with him? That's the question I have. And you know, the issue is, if you don't have the open housing, and I never found out your position or the libertarian position on open housing, how that was a causation factor. I'd like to know how you feel about open housing.
Well, that's a very complex issue. I think it's wrong to deny people housing based on their race or religion, especially if it's something like an apartment house. But at the same time, I think individuals, if they don't particularly, let's say like they're Satanist or something, you know, there's got to be some right to refuse service. But it's an evil to deny people, but then it becomes an even greater evil now that they're saying under Agenda 21, you've got to live in a 250-square-foot coffin apartment. So see, it shows how the Democratic Party couldn't win with segregation, so they flipped and became against it, but created the government reservations and the government housing. So it's an incredibly complex issue. But I would not say if I had a house, I mean, if the people's money was green, if they were white, black, Hispanic, Asian, whatever it was, I wouldn't sell them a house. But if they were like white trash, meth dealing, you know, people with devil tattoos all over them, and their wife had cigarette burns on them, and they wanted to buy my house, I would not sell it to them because I would want to be mean to my neighbors. But if it was a nice, upstanding black family, I'd sell them the house in a minute. I mean, but if it was a degenerate black family, I'd say, oh, okay, I'll meet with you later. But, I mean, yeah, obviously I wouldn't sell them the house. Does that make sense?
Well, the only issue is the rhetoric of white trash. I never hear black trash. I never hear brown trash.
Oh, there's lots of black trash. I'll say it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and the other issue of, well, Randy Paul was talking about privacy, and then he gets up there, and then he accuses Bill Clinton, who did something in private with that Monica Lewinsky. And now, wait a minute. Let's be consistent here. If we're going to keep the privacy, let's keep that private. And the third issue, I wanted to tell you these things about the Rothschilds. Number one, Carl Coleman Rothschild, he got, for funding the Vatican Bank, he got the Holy George Award from the Knights of Malta, KC.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com, None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, You in Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. Matt Drudge tweeted that we all need to have an exit plan. And so I asked the question to everybody out there, what is your exit plan? Should we be talking about an exit plan if America totally falls, because here's the problem. The establishment does not plan on just taking over. They plan on re-engineering and persecuting people, and they're already doing it with Dinesh D'Souza and governors, anybody that challenges Hillary Clinton. They're making the path ready. They're getting ready to legalize all the illegals. They're giving them driver's licenses everywhere to vote and to block the libertarian movement that has taken over the Republican Party. And I'm trying to reach out to folks, you know, to the immigrant group, but they are being funded by the government with food stamps and welfare, and it's a lost cause. It is a lost cause, and it will drive the wages down. All the studies show it. It will not help Latin America. It is so sad. I wish Mexico was some first world country with all its resources. That's 3 times the resources in major studies the U.S. does. And I wish I could move down there and get away from all this. I wish there was some free country to go to. I've had to look at Latin America, Chile. Rural areas are some of the only places to go where the people are halfway moral and not completely out of control with a mafia government. Believe me. And it's so sad. I mean, our country is millimeters from falling. And we need to get a giant wave of libertarians in the Republican Party ticket, which is starting to happen. And we need to start prosecuting the Attorney General and Obama and all these people to turn back the precedent that the president can be a dictator and above the law. I mean, I called for Bush's impeachment. I called for Clinton's impeachment because they've all been crooks. But under Obama, it's 10, 15, 20 times worse. You've got the media going, well, he is an imperial president, but isn't that kind of needed? That's what we need, somebody that can get stuff done. And I know lately all I've been doing is harping on this. There's never been more news to cover. And I'm getting to some of it. But this is front and center. Not just for the U.S., but the whole world. And I knew Obama would be their puppet, their front man. I thought maybe they were so worried about revolution under Bush that they would have him be a unifier. He's just promising to do that, and that, you know, maybe they wanted to fix the economy and move forward because they were skimming off the top. But now I realize they want to fully break the country now. They have such a hatred of the American people and freedom and guns and the Bible and bitter clingers, and that the Democratic Party, socialist and communist operatives that the foreign banks are running have such enmity towards anything good that they're not going to back off. They're coming for all of us. They're all a bunch of soft cowards themselves, but they run the ATF, the FBI, the NSA, the CIA, the state police are federalized, and they're coming after everybody. And I look at Mary Landrieu and Chucky Schumer and all of them, and they're all a bunch of crooks. They're all a bunch of gangsters. And you've got former Secretary of Defense Gates endorsing Obama. I mean, it is disgusting. You've got Boehner, the Speaker of the House, saying get ready to totally legalize all the illegals, and then whoever else comes after that, and knowing full well it's the Democratic Party voting bloc, because you've got the big national associations of broadcasters committing suicide supporting the Republican leadership. You've got the National Association of Manufacturers, the small business groups, the Chamber of Commerce. They're all endorsing going after the Tea Party. Type in Chamber of Commerce funds anti-Tea Party movement, because we're the only opposition, even though the Tea Party wasn't perfect. But it came out of Ron Paul, an anti-war, pro-liberty, anti-big government movement. The Republicans got scared by it, tried to co-opt it 7 years ago. That failed. Karl Rove failed. Now it's fully woken up. We've won the battle for the Tea Party. They are freaking out. We're the only opposition on the field of battle. And so you've got the national associations, the business leagues, all of them wanting more open borders, more unfair trade, more garbage, more fraud, more everything. And it's so serious. They want a full takedown. They want control of the whole empire. They don't understand that even if they want an empire, they need some free market and liberty that makes us strong and as a blood supply. They're cancer. They don't even know that from an evil perspective. They're just gobbling up every tissue, every organ, the bloodstream, the whole deal. America's like a huge, mutated, half-undead, stumbling monster right now. And the heart's still beating, the guts are still working, and the zombie is attacking itself because it sees what's still alive as an enemy, even though it's what's keeping the undead creature going. That's how screwed up these people are. I would compromise with them if they could be compromised with. They cannot be compromised with. They are evil. I want to go to Radon, Jerry, Billy, Tom. But, Steve, I promised that I'd let you finish up your point on open borders and stuff. Go ahead.
Recapping, where the Franco-Prussian War, Paris, 1871, every palace, every chalet, chateau, plundered, looted, burned, destroyed, except for the Rothschilds, meaning the Rothschilds were behind as a false flag operation, the Parisian communist takeover. That's indirect proof of that. Now, the last point I have about the Rothschilds, you talk about England. The Lord Beaconsfield Rothschild, he was so powerful that when he went out on the street in the 1800s, all the carriages and everybody, all the pedestrians had to stand at attention, petrified, as a game of statues, until the Rothschild carriage passed. And that shows me that these guys are behind, and like you said, it's some kind of conspiracy, international conspiracy behind this kind of thing to overthrow any kind of independent movement that's out there. I appreciate it, Alex.
Well, it's true. The Rothschilds indirectly funded Hitler. They funded the Bolsheviks on record. They funded Napoleon and then helped bring him down. I mean, it's all in the history books. And I have read about different Rothschilds so powerful that everyone would stand at attention, like when the Queen of England was around. And they were so powerful, they intermarried with the royalty. I mean, it's incredible. Who do you think's funding all this stuff? It's unbelievable. Radon in Idaho, you're on the air. Go ahead. Good prank call. Appreciate that. Jerry in Ohio, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How you doing, Alex Jones? I'm a longtime listener, and hey, I do spread the InfoWars message.
Thank you, brother.
And I just want to make a couple quick comments. Here in Northeast Ohio, they're really getting the people primed to stand at attention. We got these FEMA churches that are giving out food. People got to get there like 6 o'clock in the morning, no matter what the weather's like. They won't open the doors till like 10 o'clock. But they got people that walk down the line and tell people, you know, you got to stand here, you know.
No, that's just like the Soviet Union. They had plenty of food, but it was all about making you stand at attention for 5 hours. It is training you and wasting your time and teaching you that only they have it. In Venezuela, they make the children pray to Jesus when they're hungry in the morning, and then no milk or cereal is given. Then you pray to Chavez, the milk and cereal is given.
And also, Alex, they're buying up these parks. They're creating parks, but the strange thing about it, they have a road going through them, but the road has always got a barrier that's closed. And I believe that they're going to convert some of these parks into...
Well, sir, your gut is right. It's on record that the major sports stadiums and major parks are designated as emergency centers under FEMA. So your gut is right, and it's public intel.
And one of your documents that you put out had an octopus over the globe, and it said nowhere we can't reach.
No, that was the NSA put that out, and they make jokes and say that we are in 1984 and laugh at the American people and describe us as the enemy. I appreciate your call. God bless you, sir. Great points. Let's talk to Tom in Kansas. Tom, you're on the air. And I guess that was his point about leaving the country. There's nowhere they can't reach. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Alex, I got a few points. One is strategic relocation. I bought it, read it, and watched the video. Excellent work. If I got it right, I haven't read it in some time, but I think was the Ozarks the safest place on Earth that Joe Skousen came up with?
He said it was a safer area. The best place in Texas is the Hill Country, strangely enough, where I live. Then there's also the area in and around areas of Utah into Idaho. He says that's very safe.
Okay. I wonder if that's where that prank caller was calling from.
Well, if everything collapses, that prank caller can call in and make prank calls.
Exactly. How about nascent? Let's go to nascent iodine. The RDA on the bottle is 6 drops. And I didn't feel like I was getting enough from that. So do you think it's okay to like take 12 or?
Sir, you do whatever you want. You need to consult your physician. We go with the FDA recommendation. I mean, under Agenda 21, in Europe, they've lowered stuff down to almost nothing, even lower than here. But whatever's good for your body, I'm not going to give medical advice here. All I can say is it's been life-changing for me. And as stressful as my life is, I've lost even more weight. I have even more stamina. And it's just been simply amazing. I mean, people can look at how I look. I mean, it's just done incredible things for me. And that's why it's a godsend that we were able to develop this product with Dr. Group and bring it to folks, the InfoWars Survival Shield at InfoWarsLife.com.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at InfoWars.com/show.